Hey guys, super excited to be here with you today. We last week went with Heavy D Sparks, and that project turned into a crazy idea of I was just gonna help my friend Hans cut that tree down, and Dave said, nope, we're gonna reuse this trunk. So we cut it down, we cut it down to halfway, and then he brought his excavator, showed up with an excavator, dug it out, we hauled it down to his house and buried it. And I know all of you that have come over from his page, by the way, super big shout out to all of you guys for coming over and supporting us. Thank you. But all of you have been asking, when are we gonna see the video of the treehouse? So this is it. And we are excited to start and to talk about what we're gonna do. So we went over to the house, buried the trunk, and Dave's like, all right, Burbage, time to get busy. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do it the right way. And we are super stoked for it. And we're gonna show you from planning, which we're gonna talk about today, what products we're gonna use, what style we're gonna use, and how we're gonna do it, and maybe show you some other samples that we've got in the shop, right on up to setting that treehouse down on that trunk that we set last week. So gonna be a wild ride. There's gonna be a couple episodes, maybe more than a couple, so keep following us, keep supporting us, and gear up guys, because it's gonna be awesome. Okay guys, I first want to talk to you about the material we are going to use. So if any of you have followed our house build that we did for Dave, and we did all the timber work on that house, and man, there's so much awesome work that went into that, and a lot had to do with the material we used. Well, so this tree house is going to be mine themed. It's going to look like an old miner shack. And we're gonna go with the same kind of material we used on Dave's house. So what I have right here, to my right, your left, is material we pulled out of the Great Salt Lake. So if anybody knows the story of the railroads, they know that the two railroads, East and West, Continental and Pacific, I believe, they came together out at Promontory Point, which is just north of Ogden, where we were at the other day getting that tree. And this was in the early 1800s, and when those two railroads came together, they had to build a trestle across the Great Salt Lake. Now, fast forward to 1981 or 2, they needed to replace that trestle. It was old, decrepit, starting to fall in places, and they needed to replace it. They replaced it with a causeway, which is a gravel bridge basically across the Great Salt Lake, and they pulled out the old trestle. Anyway, a lot of that wood that they pulled out was floating in the water when later in 1983 we had a horrible flood, which doesn't happen too often here in Utah. And when the waters receded around the Great Salt Lake, the wood washed up on shore. Well, now fast forward to I think it was 2018 or 2017, we went out to the island that Dave owned, Fremont Island, and we got a lot of this old wood. And we used a lot of it and incorporated a lot of it on his house. So this wood tells a story. It tells a story of the pioneers, ancestors coming across the plains and going out to the gold rush or wherever they were going. So it's pretty cool, and a lot of sentimental value here in this wood. Not only does it look cool, these old spikes and rust spots, and man, the salt pickled the wood on the Great Salt Lake. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, guys. We're excited to use more of it. This particular product that I'm sitting in front of is white oak, red oak combination, and I think there's even some fruit wood in here. And the story behind this wood is that Dave talks about it in a recent video. When they went out to the Salt Lake to recover some equipment, they had to use these pads to get their machines into the soft areas. And that's basically what they're used for, is they bolt these pieces together with these gnarly big bolts and hardware, and then they spread them out across the boggy marsh. And when the oil guys are putting in big pipes across these soft areas they can run their machines across them. Then they dig them back out of the dirt, turn around and put them behind them or wherever they're going in the direction they're going. So they get pretty beat up. Not only are you gonna have heavy equipment running over them, but also the elements, the mud, all that stuff. So I phoned Dave and I said, hey, do you have any of these left over? And he says, yeah, but we beat the crap out of them out at the island. And I said, okay, let me go take a look at them. And I almost grabbed all that he had because I didn't see anything that was too wrong with them. They're in pretty good shape. In fact, when we started milling these up, we realized that, man, the natural beauty is still there, and these edges that are knocked off and the bolt holes and all that stuff, people just eat that stuff up. It is pretty product, and it's really hard and really durable. So we're gonna use these on our timber frames. We're gonna have some timber frame accent trusses in the gables. We're gonna have some moldings on the corners of the walls, and similar to what we're gonna do with that other product I just talked about. So this product, and we use this one a lot on Dave's gate and other places in the house. So it'll go well with what we're doing on the tree house, with what we did on the house. Here behind me, I have these massive tree stumps. I've got one, I think this is box elder. This one is cotton. And cotton is kind of a little unpredictable, but it's still, for what we're gonna use it for, it's gonna be awesome. It's huge. And then I got right behind me a sycamore base. And what makes these things cool is, number one, they're huge, heavy duty, and strong, but they also have that natural characteristic of a tree. And that is what is gonna make Dave's so cool. Is we took a tree from Ogden and recently found out it's a monarch cedar, which I've never heard of in my life. It's actually from Germany, and somebody brought it over from Germany and planted it in Ogden and grew it. And that's the power of the internet. Somebody saw the YouTube video and they wanted a piece of the tree and to talk about it. We decided we cut it down or dug it out. But anyway, so that one's a monarch cedar, and the cool thing about that one is, if you notice, these have got some big trunks, like so. Each one's different, but the monarch cedar that we took out of Ogden and we're using up at Dave's house, it's got some cool branches that come out and then up that we're going to use to carry the floor. So we will incorporate in our floor, we will incorporate some big tie beams back down to the trunk, and these, on this particular tree house, we're going to tie them to concrete using big steel brackets. So that's how we tie these trunks down to the ground. We use a big concrete footing with rebar, everything, and then a steel bracket that comes out of the concrete and connects to the trunk. Hopefully we won't make it too visible to keep that natural beauty intact. So right here I have with me my very own Big Al, the foreman. And Al is awesome because this is kind of where he resides. This is the shop, and he takes control of all the projects and makes sure that they get done, dialed into a T, so that when we're out on our installs, those go pretty slick and smooth, and we don't have to spend a lot of time out there on the installs. So the reason I have Al here is because we've done one of these, we've done a few of them, and on the last one, we did these crazy looking curves, circles, and if you notice, the walls go out on an angle.
Kids don't want just some cookie cutter treehouse, so we try to make it whimsical. That's why you notice it flares out every which way. Windows are crooked. It's kind of a Dr. Seuss style we like to go with. So we just like to make it fun to build and fun for the kids and families.
Now, the cool thing about Heavy D's treehouse is, I said it's an old miner shack, but we're gonna try to make it look like it's tilting one way or the other. It's gonna look like it's almost falling over, so it's gonna be really, really, really cool. So I'm here with Garrett, the Garrett. We call him Master G. And why do we call you Master G? How many years do you got into this?
I have been doing this for about 12 years, and then
Talk about your school.
I went and I have actually a bachelor's in architectural timber framing. UVA, South Carolina, and graduated there. Then I came here and started working for Tone.
Dude, so some also may say that you're the villain. Is that because of your expressions right now? You're laughing, dude. I got to laugh.
I'm a little rough on the new guys.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta whip them in the shade. So
That's all right, dude. Our last tree house, Garrett is kind of the boots on the ground when we go install these, and he does a lot of the installations and helps me with the installs, or I help him maybe. And on our last install, when we did this tree house, dude, how'd she fly over the house?
it was a little nerve-wracking, but we built it strong. We always build everything really, we over-engineer it. But we had to keep it light at the same time, so the white hemlock really helped. Then we had to do it in 2 crane actions. We did the base and craned it over. Then we had to scribe to the actual tree stump, massive braces, 4 braces going around supporting the structure. Then we craned the top, or the actual building. Then it just fit right into place because we had it all laid out perfectly.
I can attest that it fit like a glove. It was awesome. Go back and watch the videos that we have posted about. And this is a plug for why you guys need to use us on your treehouse. Is because it's not a typical treehouse or a typical shed, whatever you want to use these for, but headers, 2x4 walls, thicker material that we mill, and the stuff is stout and strong. I mean, these roofs are unpredictable sometimes and amazing at the same time with how they look and make the building come to life. There's so many angles and so many different things happening on this structure right now that's crazy. Tyler, this is Timber T. Tyler, you have a framing background, dude. You've been with us for 3 years now? 2? Tell everybody, dude, why this stuff isn't just like a cakewalk, dude. These angles, and why the skiwampus walls and the angles are different.
Well, anyone that's framed, everything's always square. I mean, if you look at this, you can see it inverts out at every angle, and then you've got windows slanted. So they're all compound angles, which is so much harder than trying to just, throw 245s together. These are compound miters that go out, and all your windows the angles are just insane. So to get something like this right is super, super hard, but when it comes together, you can see what it does for the eyes. Everything is.
And this one is like, he says, not square, which it isn't. The angles both sides, but everything is uniform. One we're doing up in Heavy D's house is going to be like the whole hut's falling over. So this front wall is going to be tilted this way, and this back wall is going to be tilted the other way, and then we got to frame a roof in between the 2 walls. So we are excited, but yet once again challenged with what's ahead of us, and we're going to take you along on this journey. So if you guys want to continue to see this awesome content, subscribe, like the video, and gear up, because we're going to take you on a wild ride. Okay, listen to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna set you up, dude. I'll set you up, like I said, set you up for success, all right? Hold on. So I'm gonna talk about planning, and I'm gonna say, hey, Bailey, this is a good life lesson. Why is it important to have plans in your life?
Yeah,
And you'll be like,
how am I gonna answer that, dude?
Dude, this is your chance to show me, dude.